Yeah, that's it. Welcome to the Cafe Nutty Show. I am your host, the Goldsmith. Today is the 2nd of May, 2024. It happens to be a Thursday, and it happens to be yet another day of dropping some incentives, some reasons, some teaser. Let's say a teaser. A teaser is why you need to be at Genesis Week 2024 live and in person, and that is the big prize. We dropped this idea that Upland's done the last couple of years. Well, there's a big prize at Genesis Week. You come in Genesis Week, you do the things. There's a big prize that's tied in, and again, the big prize is going to be something that's generally open for in-person and non-in-person event, but then it's also tied into some other pieces and some other prizes along the way. It ties into the theme, which kind of brings this whole thing around, and it makes me feel, what are we doing with this theme? Because it's a theme that we haven't been building towards, but it gets dropped out of the blue a month ahead. We don't have this on the roadmap, but it's kind of like a surprise. I don't know. I guess we have a lot more to hear about this from the team. I mean, Upland's going to have to build the utility around it, and of course, this drop here is airplanes, and we'll get into that and what that means and what it looks like and how that ties into Genesis Week 2024, with it being a theme, with it being a part of the game built in, and of being a very big part of prizes that you could win at Genesis Week, both live and in person, but also just in Genesis Week for full participation. Last year, the big prize was won by some big participation when we talk about the Golden Llama. So that is definitely something to consider. But get ready for Genesis Week this year, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that are layering in, and of course, the little bit of incentivization here might be enough to push a couple people over the edge who weren't thinking about going just yet. And of course, we also had Genesis. We were getting ready for Genesis Week. We also had I'm going to call it my last city, maybe, before the Genesis Week city, and that is going to be DC, getting our collection reveal drop today. A lot tells me the month away, you're getting ready and building excitement around Genesis Week. I don't know how we have time to do a city between now and Genesis Week. So the next city is going to be whatever our Genesis Week city is going to be, not yet announced. And one other thing that we know going on, and we can keep our eyes out for as we get ready, as we do keep moving forward toward Genesis Week. I think the last bit of that is just otherwise everything else that's going on right now between now and Genesis Week to just be ready for it. And we'll go over those things again. We're going to talk about Genesis Week almost every day between now and Genesis Week. Sorry, it's the way it is. But for tonight, all views and opinions expressed by myself and mine alone should be taken as game strategy or financial advice and do not represent the game of the team of the Upland. Any guest contributors who we do have on, they have their own opinions. They're welcome to them. Should be taken as game strategy or advice. They don't represent the game of the team of the Upland. They don't represent myself, the Goldsmith, or the Coffin of the show. Get that out of the way, make it nice and fast. And everybody, doggies. Everybody was looking forward to something, a big drop, a big reveal. I think we had plenty of reason to think it was going to come back around and have to tie to Sparklet. And it tangentially does. I mean, I guess the theme is tied to Sparklet. We'll take a look at that announcement. I guess by language is tied to Sparklet. And I'm sure, with all the things you've already been dropped with Sparklet and the chapter G Sparklet drop, that is a big part of a Genesis Week in-person event this year. I'll agree with that. But the way they kind of mash this together, it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting concept. We're taking two concepts and finding the easiest way, at least on Upland side, easiest way to make them come together. And those two concepts, there it is, Sparklet and airplanes. We're thrilled to unveil Sparklet Gives You Wings. Okay. Sparklet Gives You Wings as the official theme for Genesis Week and Genesis Live 2024 in Las Vegas. Upland, this is a fun one. Upland has flirted and told this line before, where it sounds like they're co-opting somebody else's trademark. It sounds like Upland is kind of playing in a little bit to somebody else's. And everyone says, "Ooh, it's exciting. Does that mean we're gonna have a direct partnership with this other company?" And it turns out that that was never in the cards. That was never coming. And I think that's the same place we are this year, this time around, with a quick note that it's officially, Red Bull did have to settle about the gives you wings because it was officially and apparently a false claim for many people. They drank that Red Bull. They expected wings were going to pop out of their back. Those wings did not pop out of their back. So Red Bull had to settle and pay people money because they didn't give people the wings they thought they were going to get. But it looks like Upland is actually going to give some people some wings this year. This year, we're giving Upland, taking Upland to new heights by introducing a private aviation. Airplanes are coming in private aviation. Look at this. Sparklet will power your ability to design, build, and personalize your spaces, truly transforming the metaverse into a hub of creativity and innovation. So, Sparklet and private aviation, side by side, right next to each other. Again, Sparklet driving and fueling the ability to design and create, and private aviation, the ability to have more agency. There we go. We'll use that term, agency in travel. Where do you want to fly? Connecting disparate airports together, potentially, if there's not a flight pattern. You can make yourself a flight pattern. You just call and you say, hey, tower, let me down. I'm flying in now. And they're going to let you in because Upland's going to let them or make them do so. So this is something we're looking forward to. It's kind of out of the blue. Like I said, people have been talking about aviation for years. The idea of private aviation has been touted by the team, and it has been discussed by the team that it was coming and it would be here eventually. So here it is. Get ready for your chance to win the sleek MVA 300 Albatross plane during week-long in-game events. Again, these are going to be events that are in-game. They're going to be both those in person and not in person. Just like last year, that big prize could be won by somebody at home or somebody there in the room. This 6-seat turboprop is not just a prize, it's a piece of Upland history waiting to be claimed. The Genesis MV-A 300 Albatross will be a unique, one-of-a-kind mint, making it a truly special edition to Upland. That's just like the Golden Llama, right? To introduce a new concept, to introduce a new form of NFT in the game of Upland. We have a one-of-one, very special, very unique. Poof, there it is. And again, same thing, where aspirational, you want to win it. It has whatever value the community wants to put on it because there's only one of them. It's not like you can have historical market data. It's not like you could have a comparable, with one person selling one at one price. It's whatever the highest bidder wants to pay for it once you own it, or hold on to it forever and enjoy the fact that you have a one-of-one aircraft until Upland starts throwing miles on their fly as much as you wish and as much as you can. The Genesis MVA 300 Albatross, again, it is going to be the only one. Exclusive Telegram chat group. Yay, Telegram. I mean, I see Upland trying to go the international route. We're in Discord. I'm still in Discord. I love it. I think it makes it pretty easy for Upland to communicate. It is pretty easy to get involved in. It is easy to have push notifications. Those are all great things. I don't know what is going on with Telegram. Ticket holders, watch your inbox for an invite to our exclusive Genesis Live chat group. Check, connect with the Upland team and community, get sneak peeks and more. And for me, I don't know if I've ever seen Upland, push something in a direction that I'm less likely to go in. I'm excited. I'm excited for Genesis Week. I'm excited for the access, the potential access. Telegram is not a place where I have a lot of confidence based on some of the history of things that we've seen happen there. Conversations getting hijacked, people using it for, fraud purposes. A lot of weird things over there. But, again, there is high adoption in many parts of the world. A lot of people do use it. There are places that don't use Discord in the same way. I get it. I get the concept. It's just not the venue that we've been using. And we have one other place we could have stuck this. The one other place we could have stuck this, obviously, is level one in-game chat. We could build a group. We could put everybody in it. We could gate who could get in. We could gate who can't get in. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Upland's already done it. Wouldn't be hard to do it again. Check out the MVA 300 Albatross and read more about the full details here in our Medium article. Look at this. There it is. Look at the wings. Look at the sparklet. Sparklet gives you wings. We are thrilled to announce Sparklet gives you wings as the official theme of this year's Genesis Week and Genesis Live and Genesis Live. So both. We've got Genesis Week. Everybody can participate, whether you're at home, whether you're in person. Genesis Live is specific to being in person in Las Vegas, set to take place in Las Vegas 2024. This year's Genesis Week theme represents the bold vision, our boldest vision yet, as we introduce private aviation and expand the horizons of Upland. Sparklet is at the core and the heart of the transformation journey, empowering users to build, design, personalize their spaces, and power transportation within the metaverse, and create a true hub of creativity and innovation. Yes, Sparklet is something we've been touting for months. We were talking about the reality of the token release, the launch, the listing. We don't know when that's going to be, and there's no reason at this moment to know for sure that it's going to coincide with Genesis Week in any way, shape, or form. There's been some people thinking about that. Upland's been talking about the timing, the importance of the timing, but we can celebrate Sparklet without the actual listing of Sparklet, without it actually showing up on exchanges, and I think that may very well be what happens. The Hackathon and Design Challenge will spotlight Sparklet's role in enhancing creativity and connectivity. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. I would say Upland would love to see some Sparklet things in that hackathon. If you're developing, if you're working on a project, might be a direction you want to head. As the Web3 industry and the blockchain gaming flourish, Upland has emerged as a pioneering platform that embodies growth and innovation, making Sparklet Gives You Wings not just a theme, but a vision for the future of the metaverse. Okay. Genesis Week Grand Prize. Again, that's that 300 Albatross playing the MV Aviation 300 Albatross, introducing the MVA 300 Albatross. What we did see with this, we saw a teaser on Twitter earlier. It was like the cowling of an airplane with a bunch of rivets on it, and we didn't know exactly what it was. We didn't see that much of it. It was enough to say, yeah, that looks a little bit like an airplane. A little bit of an old-fashioned, hammer riveted cowling on something on an aluminum skin aircraft, and that's about what we got. I guess it isn't actually aluminum skin at this point. What we're seeing is going to be uh, it's not going to be an aluminum skin in the way that was displayed. I don't see anywhere where we'd see the likely hammered rivets here, but it's very interesting, very cool. It was a good hint yesterday, and it was a big reveal today. For those joining us live in person at Genesis Week Live in Las Vegas, we're offering an extra bonus. Again, you got to be there in person if you want these. We're giving away 3 plane passes for the soon-to-be unveiled MV Aviation 100 Sparrow plane. This single-engine, 4-seat recreational vehicle promises even more excitement for our attendees. Make sure to secure your Genesis Live tickets now. Here it is. I expected it. I think a lot of people did. Upland's going to drop one more incentive to why you should go to Genesis Week. And here it is. If you don't like Spark, if you're really not excited about getting up to 5,000 Sparklet, if you don't like the idea of heading to Vegas because you don't like Vegas, if you don't like the idea of spending a couple days with a bunch of Uplanders with some food and some drinks and the newest features in Upland moving forward, you've got one more incentive, and that is the opportunity to get a plane. The exclusive Genesis Live Telegram group for attendees who have purchased their tickets for Genesis Live 2024. The private invite will be coming. It's an exclusive Genesis Live Telegram group and opportunity to get some updates, converse or share with fellow attendees and partners, sharing the excitement and possibly getting some sneak peeks along the way at some additional prize opportunities. More and more and more. From day one, when Genesis Week 2024 was announced, The X1 came on and essentially said more prizes than we've ever seen before, best prizes, more of them. And I think that's exactly what we're getting. At Upland, we are proud of the unique journey we are forging in the digital space. Driven by our amazing community with Sparklet gives you wings, we are set to soar into the future and beyond together. Join us in the exciting adventure as we head forward, continuing on to expand the boundaries of what's possible in Upland. Look at that. Look at that. We are looking again, Genesis Week 2024 as being more than just prizes. I really hope so. Oh, I don't know, Banana. I can't tell you why my mic quality dropped. I apologize. But very much so, this is something that is more than just prizes. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of reasons to be at Genesis Week this year. But of course, prizes along the way is never a discouragement. Always something exciting, always something fun to see and to be a part of. So get on down to your friendly neighborhood Upland store, UPX store. You can buy your tickets there. You can buy your tickets over at oh my gosh, who are they? Who is Upland's partner for these tickets anymore? I don't know, but you can go buy them in the game Upland. Eventbrite is where you can buy them directly through Eventbrite if you choose to do so, and then otherwise, this is something that you've got limited time. The time is clicking away. Time is going away. Get scheduled. Take the time off work, buy those tickets if you're going to buy those tickets, and figure out your flight and your oh, look at that flight, your flight and your travel arrangements so you can get to Vegas and be there in person if that's what you are looking to do. All right, so real quick, let's get back to some fun. Fun today, the DC collection reveals. So we had some DC collections get revealed in the game of Upland. They were exciting. They're cool. Here they are. We have some. We had some collections get released. We go back up here. We had some collections get released today. A good balance of street and of neighborhood. We did see that we do have a Washington D.C. owned 3 properties of Washington D.C. collection. That basic collection is always nice. But let's take a look what else we've got there. Adams Morgan, again, this is a neighborhood collection. We do have the Cleveland Park. We have DuPont Circle, Georgetown, Coloroma, and Penn Quarter. All neighborhoods getting a neighborhood collection. Street collections, Constitution Ave Northwest, M Street Northwest, Massachusetts Ave Northwest, Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, so go figure, and Wisconsin Ave Northwest. Thank you for the community with the many speculations about many of those places, about the fact that they thought they were going to hit collection and how important they were, and how Upland couldn't possibly overlook them. Well, Upland didn't overlook them, so that's always nice. What we did see as well when we saw this collection is we had a little bit of a venue collection. We've had these before. Upland chooses what's in there. You can't get any rhyme or reason to them. It's Upland's reasoning, and that's what they are. Upland's American Legacy owned 3 American Legacy in Washington, D.C. as a curated collection, curated by the one and only Upland team. This is a final list. It is not subject to change. So if you think that something else should be part of American Legacy collection, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Upland's already decided no more comes in. We have locked unminted properties in DC that should be in collection, repriced them, put them back out. That's what always happens. It worked out for me. I hit a couple collections. It wasn't horrible. I spent a lot of UPIX in DC. Maybe I could have saved that for Genesis Week, but I'm in the mode where I have to get some UPIX back, so I have some UPIX for Genesis Week. But I do also have a couple collections picked up in the city of DC, which is a major city in the U.S. It's going to be a tier 1. Lots of reasons why I'm happy with the properties I ended up with in the city, and lots of reasons why. I guess it was the right city for me to put some UPIX in, which I obviously have already done. No backing out now. With the collection reveals, as always, if I come back down here to live updates, you're going to see that the collection keys were given, so we can see that these collections were all were all pre-written to the chain. It was something that didn't get added by Upland, but based on what players bought in what areas. It's all good. It's all there. And of course, it's always fun to see what these collections hit, what's going on there, how people go and rush to go buy properties up. We still have a lot of properties that are collections, limited collections. We did for a little while have some exclusive collections that are just sitting there. Part of the reason why is the pricing's pretty high. Any unminted property that was going to be on Wisconsin, depending on what neighborhood it's in, I mean, some of those properties are 100 UP2 at $1 million UPX. It's like crazy. It's crazy. Just over 100 UP2, and you said $1 million up into it. So they add up fast when you get that multiplier apply when you already have a very high UPX per UP2 price getting started there. And we did have this other step along the way here with Washington D.C., where you get Washington D.C. first, and then you get your terminals afterwards. And part of the terminals, it was a little laggy here with the international airports, and they finally sold. And then now we have a flight coming to the game of Upland. I don't know if it's the best sense of timing there, but I don't know how it's going to work with terminals. That question's already been raised. I don't necessarily think it's going to be the end of the world, though, because if we recall cars, Upland said that cars are going to be expensive at start, and certain cars are going to be expensive, and the ones that have different utility are going to have a higher cost, and there'll be one for every man, but the everyman vehicle isn't necessarily going to have the same performance as the higher end, more expensive cars. And that's what we got. We got a lot of that. When we talked about those Series 1 Rs, the mint price was 800,000 UPX. That's not cheap. 800,000 UPX. We could see these planes be significantly more, and I'd be surprised if they weren't. And that's because when you look at utility, when you look at a real world analog, because Upland likes to have a real world analog, it would be pretty silly to say that you can get a plane for less than a high-end car. That, to me, that doesn't make sense. Not a plane that has 6 seats that can fly, that's capable of flying between major cities, that has an enclosed cockpit, has an enclosed seating or passengers in the plane, that has climate control and entirely enclosed. Doesn't make sense to say that's going to cost, at least for me, doesn't make sense that's going to cost less than a high-end car. So I very much expect that to cost more. Keep that in mind. There's other ways to get around for flight. Theoretically, Upland having private plane travel does not change the way other plane travel is in the game. I think that we're going to continue to have plane travel. I think the private is going to be another layer, another touch of luxury. And in that, we do have certain accounts that are very large. We have chief executive accounts. Some people would argue that some of the mid-tier executives are relatively large accounts too. I mean, as we continue to see all ships get raised with the rising seas, we have seen a lot of people increase the sizes of their accounts over the last couple of years. In some cases, that just moves the goalpost, at least for me, with what's a big account. But there's a lot of people who can't afford a private plane, just like in the real world. There's a lot of people who can't afford a private plane. And when I look at that concept, when I think about that concept, I definitely don't expect private planes to be something that all players are going to aspire to. I think it's possible that they could grow into having a private plane. It's possible that they could be working towards, it's an aspirational goal, with some large accounts swooping right in and getting a plane as early as possible. But as we look forward in the game of Upland, we are going to have some of that. I think at some point, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in 6 months, maybe it's going to take a couple of years, we will have boats in the game of Upland, maybe sooner rather than later, because we were surprised about the rapidity, the speed of planes. But it's possible to have a mega yacht, and not everyone's going to have that mega yacht. I mean, just like in the real world, you're going to have people with very large accounts have things that people with small accounts can't have. Again, is it aspirational? Is it something that people can look at and say, I would like to have that in the future. I'm going to do blank, blank, and blank and grow my account and have meta ventures and do all this so that one day I could have that mega yacht. Very possible. It very much is something that, as Upland is a game where you pay to participate in many cases, in many ways, a game in which there are prizes and rewards, and people can grow their account and people can buy assets that continue to accumulate or continue to grow in value as we move further along the game. There's more and more expensive things. We keep seeing these expensive cities come in the game with larger properties, and in some cases we have assets that come in a different way, and sometimes they are higher functioning, or maybe they're rarer or more exclusive, and we continue to have very expensive things come in the game of Upland, like private planes. So keep an eye on this. Let's see how this progresses. It's going to be very cool if you're one of the first 4 people in the game of Upland to end up with a plane. But I do want to put out there, I expect planes to be relatively pricey. And I have to question, and we have to question, what are we going to do with the secondary of these things? I already have a car lot. Is that going to be where we're going to see planes? You have to have a plane lot. Maybe you do. Is secondary not going to be a primary focus of the planes up front? I don't know. We'll have to see how Upland sets it up, but it definitely is worth, I don't know. Hey, founders of Upland. Hey, people on the staff. Not a bad idea to get out and answer some questions. It's very exciting. People were excited, but to get a roadmap of what this really means with planes and what's going to happen next, what's happening now. Do we have a roadmap for what Upland wants to do with these private planes in 3 months, 6 months, a year? It'd be exciting notes to see, and it's exciting conversation to have. So that's an open invitation. Love to see that happen. But of course, very much looking forward to what this also means, which is big prizes when we talk about Genesis Week 2024. There's a lot to participate in. There's a lot to win. The activities throughout the week, including the people who are live in person, the people who are at home, all having the opportunity to win that plane. The one of one albatross is very exciting. And again, these sparrows, I take one of those 3. If I can't have the albatross, I would take a sparrow almost any day of the week. So just keep in mind how big and special this is, how nice and new this is, and how very much Upland wasn't talking about this half a month ago. So it's kind of out of the blue, if you ask me. So for tonight, I do want to look back on a couple things. One of them is Hackathon. It is open for such a short period of time. If you haven't put your team together yet, let's do this. Let's do this over the next day or two. Let's do this over the weekend. Let's get that team together. Let's see what it is you want to develop in the game of Upland. How can you really integrate, and again, Upland hasn't said this broadly, but how can you really integrate Sparklet and the future of Sparklet into your project? How is that something that is going to potentially interact and bring new players in, or interact with people who are already in Upland, who are in other groups, and energize a certain group of Uplanders? I would love to see what people come up with. We do have until the 10th to get those preliminarily, or those original submissions in. We know that the finalists are going to have to get on the stick because they have to make a more robust, well planned out presentation for Vegas to be there live in person to present and to potentially win their share of a couple nice prizes, nice grants for going ahead and developing that project, or at least getting the MVP out. So looking forward to seeing how that comes out. But for tonight, thank you so much for being here. We're here in the Upland Cafe Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. PT. We're looking forward to Genesis Week 2024 and keeping our eyes out on the swivel because we do have, of course, some things to come. As always, if you are in the Upland Cafe, thank you so much for doing so. Thank you so much for being here. As always, with the Upland Cafe, I say, please feel free to unmute your mics. The floor is yours.